Hello, hello. How are you all doing? Whether you are watching now or later. Hopefully you're all having a good time wherever you are. Now, I'm trying to get Final Fantasy to work. I had it working a second ago, but unfortunately, when I updated my reshade mod, it seemed to kill the game. So I tried rolling back reshade to an older version. This is better. All right. What would be a Final Fantasy session without the occasional crash? Yeah. I know how new. Every time Final Fantasy gets updated, I have to uninstall the game and reinstall it. It's my mistake. Uh, all right, let's get the game on screen. I'm confident it's going to work now. Let's get that bot chat off. Welcome here, bot. All right, now we got to make the game look good again. The game doesn't look bad. I just think we can do better. Uh, we'll give it a shot. Let's get my projector window going here. All right, so the plan today, after we take care of some housekeeping, is I'm going to start a whole brand new class. And probably smoke a lot of marijuana doing it, and then watch some comic book stuff. That's what's on the menu. Now, I still have to make a decision in regards to the class I'm going to pick. I'm almost certain I want to pick a physical ranged DPS. And if I want to start from level 1, I'm going to have to go with Archer. But some people have been trying to talk me into going into Blue Mage or Tank 2. Not too interested in tanking right now. I don't feel like I'm in the headspace for it. But Blue Mage sounds kind of interesting to me. But I also want to start from level 1. So I'm gonna go with I guess I'll go with Archer. I want to say that the Archer class starts in whatchamacallit, Thanalan. The Shroud. Yep, there it is. I knew my brain would figure it out someday. Let's see. First, I gotta go check on my squadron. So while we take care of some housekeeping, let's get started with the late and great Comicstorian here. I guess it covers the Justice League's sixth dimension storyline. So I don't know if I actually know anything about this at all. I'm not even sure that I've seen this
Welcome
one.
to Comicstorian, where we take some of the lore and storylines within your favorite comic books, video games, and movies, and we break them down into audio dramas. And as the year goes on, many times our storylines are broken into 10 or 20 or 30 videos over the course of a playlist. So to make things easier, we eventually compile all of those videos to tell you a full story. And this is going to be issues 1 through 4 of No Justice, and then 1 through 25 of Justice League, which is all about the totality and how the Justice League is battling against the Legion of Doom, leading to the current event, Year of the Villain. I hope you guys enjoy this one. It's going to be a real long episode, and if you do, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and follow us on Twitter @Comicstorian. We would greatly appreciate your help over there. Since before time, the Green Lanterns have been tasked with keeping peace across 3,600 sectors of space. But today, the Green Lanterns face something that they never thought they'd see. As Hal Jordan flies to the crowd, he asks John what's with the call for every ring in the universe. And John tells him, simply put, we're dealing with a cosmic ocean of destruction. Anything that we send just disintegrates. It's like our universe is a leaking raft into toxic sea. Hal then says, I know the Justice League didn't mean to do whatever this is. We had to do whatever we could to stop the dark multiverse.
I haven't done a command mission yet.
How bad could it be?
I'm gonna try
Guy
one
pushes Hal aside, yelling,
before I switch
really?
classes.
This is a source wall! You and your friends broke the damn universe. The old rulebook just went up in smoke. At that exact moment, all across Earth, all of the different hero factions are called to action against a threat that would require them all. Brainiac is invading Earth. As he battles Earth's heroes, he tells them, I see you for what you are. And hear me when I say you are not prepared for what you have unleashed. Superman flies in, punching Brainiac, yelling, I will not allow you to take this world. Do you know how many protocols we have at the slightest hint of danger? Right now, the entire city's being evacuated, meaning I don't have to hold back. He hits Brainiac again, sending him through a nearby building, but as Superman grabs a hold of him, again, Brainiac says, you delude yourself. Allow me to illuminate. Brainiac grabs Superman's head and small probes shoot out of his arm, showing Superman a vision of the future. The one where he, Brainiac, can easily defeat them. But he did not come here to adopt this world. He came here for its heroes. Not as they are, but as they can be. Superman struggles to free himself, telling him, we will fight. And Brainiac tells him, yes, and you will fail, which is the precise reason I have come for you. A flash of light washes over everyone, and the heroes soon begin to wake back up, but not on Earth. In one room, Starfire and Beast Boy wake up alongside Zatanna and Harley Quinn. Beast Boy, already in the form of a bear, snarls at Harley, and Zatanna jumps up yelling, okay, we all need
I've never done this with NPCs before, let alone my own squadron.
To calm down, Zatanna looks at her clothes, asking,
should be pretty easy. It's a low-level dungeon.
As all of them look at their uniforms and the lights attached
I don't know how
to them,
smart
Beast Boy says,
teammates
this is some next level creepy.
how
Zatanna
smart
heads to the
NPCs
door and
make
says
the
that she really
teammates.
doesn't understand what's going on, but they need to focus on getting out of here. Harley looks around and says that all of the heroes are so polite. My squad would have just blown a hole in the wall. In fact, that's what the others are probably doing. She pulls a panel off the wall, exposing some wires, and as she crosses them, she's shocked. But the door Zatanna is working on suddenly opens. Zatanna quietly says that she doesn't like this, but Starfire walks ahead, stating that she can hear voices ahead. Hopefully their friends are doing better. Up in the next room, Damian Wayne yells at Dr. Fate,
Hank is definitely not great.
One more time, I will tell you your
Healer
fate. If you're not gonna
leaves
help me
some to be
fight
desired
Brainiac,
as
I will throw
well.
out myself.
What the fuck,
As
crew?
Damian
Come
turns,
on.
he bumps
What are they
into
doing?
Brainiac, and Batman tells him,
fucking
calm
with
down.
me?
Brainiac, leading the members of the Justice League, tells them, it's all right, you're among allies here. Starfire begins to shout, asking, allies? What are you talking about? As Superman says,
So
I know it's hard to
Brainiac
believe, but it's
rescued
true.
the Justice
Starfire then
League.
asks, how can you be so sure? And Brainiac holds up his hand, holding
Or
Wonder
they're
Woman's
working
lasso,
together,
stating,
at
I believe
least.
you all understand what the Amazon's lasso is capable of. I do not have time to ask you kindly. It was to illustrate your weakness and prove my course of action. What we are about to face is something old. Older
I'm
than
learning
even
pretty
my
quick how much they
civilization.
suck.
There is a myth of 4 brothers, impossibly powerful cosmic gods, each embodying one of the fundamental energies of sentient life. They are called the Omega Titans, entropy, wisdom, wonder, and mystery. Each believe that their core energy would be the dominant power of intelligent
my
life. And to
target.
prove themselves, they have planted the seeds of cosmic energy into world after world. At the end of the universe, the story says that they would return to these civilizations that grew over eons, and the winning brother would reabsorb that world. With the source wall breaking, it has set these beings into motion. They are ready to begin the systematic destruction of all sentient worlds, until nothing nothing is left. It is, however, possible to stop all of this. We need to restore balance.
I don't know, you can only pull that card so many times before it's like, what, is it Monday already? The destruction of the multiverse already, again?
Success may not be likely, but at the very least,
I don't know. You know, like, I liked what they were doing in Deadpool and Wolverine, but
they appear to be uneven.
if they're not careful, this multiverse thing is going to become the next zombie.
Out to Batman stating, "I'm not sure that I would call us heroes, but hey, if the shoe fits." Everyone turns to see Lex Luthor and several other villains, and while Brainiac's plan is now set into motion, Amanda Waller is busy working on a plan of her own. She tells everyone that they need to make sure that Task Force 11 is primed and ready to go. She didn't kidnap the most powerful psychics in the world just for fun. It's time to hack Brainiac. Up in Brainiac's ship, tempers flare as Starfire shouts that she will never fight alongside a tyrant like Sinestro. Sinestro yells that he was saving planets and she was swaddling clothes. "You dare suggest that you are too good to fight alongside me?" But the other heroes and villains begin to weigh in, and Brainiac shouts, "That is enough! We have arrived at Kudu." Everyone stops and looks out the window to see one of the Titans, and Superman says, "My God." Brainiac tells him, "They are not gods, they are destroyers." Kalu is the home of the smartest race of sentient life. My race, therefore wisdom, is who has come to consume this world. The other energies are weak here, but if the balance is reignited, we may have a chance of saving this world. You must do exactly as I say. Any deviation, and you would not only doom Kalu, but every other world. As Brainiac begins to explain, though, he begins to feel a sharp pain as Amanda Waller's psychics are attempting to hack his brain. Superman rushes over to catch Brainiac as he falls, asking, "What's wrong?" And Brainiac says, "I can't think." And then his head explodes. As everyone watches, Beast Boy says, "So, what are we gonna do?" And Lobo says, "We are so fragged." Amanda Waller makes her way to the Arctic Circle. As she drives closer to her destination, General Lane radios in, telling her that she needs to turn back right now. Amanda tells him that she needs him to shut up. She will not be turning back. This is far more important than her life or his ego. Task Force 11 is prepared to shut down any attack that comes within 60 miles of her location. Lane says that his intelligence shows that her psychics are all in a comatose state, and Amanda asks, who's he going to believe? The United States government or her? After a few moments of silence, Lane tells her that she has 1 hour, and she ends the radio transmission. As she parks her snowmobile, sighing and calling Lane an idiot, she steps out, and a green arrow is shot into the ground. Green Arrow himself then says, "The next part of this conversation is going to be real easy. I know you're responsible for this, so tell me, where the hell is the Justice League?" Meanwhile, over on Kalu, the Titan of Wisdom begins to make his move on the planet. The people of Kalu begin to run in panic, but they're not only running because of the Titan, they are running away from the heroes, shouting that our heroes are Brainiac's minions wearing his technology. Flash yells to the people that they are actually here to help, and Superman tells him that it is no use. These drones are programmed to destroy anything associated with Brainiac. While the teams defend themselves from the drones, some of the teams begin to notice that their abilities aren't holding up like they used to. Harley says, "Yeah, well, that thing might have something to do with everyone's powers." Cyborg scans it and says that it's fascinating. It's like a real tree. It's made out of information and it's broadcasting a signal. This must be how the Omega Titans determine the dominant energy on a planet. And on this planet, it's wisdom. Starfire says that she can sense a pull, but not from the tree, somewhere south of where they are. And Zatanna adds that she does too, but hers feels more northwest. Beast Boy asks, "So what? 4 teams, 4 energies, 4 trees?" And Batman tells him, "The league will take point. Everyone else reform into your own teams and explore these locations." Lex looks at Martian Manhunter and asks, "Are you going to tell him or should I?" And Manhunter says, "By all means." Lex steps in front of the group telling everyone, like it or not, Brainiac is one of the smartest beings to ever live. The next smartest, besides myself, have all lived here on Kalu. They are currently running for their lives like frightened children. As much as it pains me to say, a lot of us don't come close to measuring up. We aren't going to solve this without their wits and will. Our best chance for survival is to follow the plan that Brainiac set. Remember this, if we fail, not only will Kalu fail, but so will Earth. The nodes on your costumes are drawing you to the 4 energy poles. Brainiac said that they need to restart the 3 dying energies to counteract Wisdom's control. Superman says, "Luthor's right. I wish he weren't, but we don't have any other leads." Batman looks at the teams and says that there's at least 1 leaguer per team. I could live with that. Damian grabs Batman and tells him, "This is a bad idea. Are we really going to be trusting Brainiac and Luthor?" And Batman tells him, "That's enough. I was going to say it's the right decision. For now, we have a world to save." And Lex says, "Correction, teammate, we have 2 worlds to save." Back on Earth, Green Arrow pulls another arrow pointed at Amanda and tells her, 4 hours ago, every device in Queen Industries satellite network exploded after tracing the signal it led to you. So the question is, what in God's name are you up to? Amanda ignores the question and says that if he's going to shoot her, just shoot. The world's going to end today, so either shoot her now and save her the trouble, or get out of the way and let her do her damn job. Green Arrow says, not before you tell me what's going on. And Amanda sighs, pulling out a small device, using it to shoot a rope that ties Green Arrow up. She then says that after the invasion of the Dark Multiverse, the Justice League informed the government that the battle had broken the Source Wall. Their intelligence didn't know that there was even a wall at the edge of the universe. So when Brainiac came to Earth, she gathered up the world's most powerful psychics and ripped every piece of data out of his head. From what we've learned, Brainiac managed to put Earth next on the list for the space gods and blackmail the heroes into fighting them on his home planet. So as for what she's doing here, she's cleaning up the mess that his pals left behind, because a few hundred feet from where they are now is the only thing that's going to save them. Now, if he and all of his superhero friends would just leave her alone, she'll get them out of this. Green Arrow says, that's the thing, there's no other superheroes. It happened right after you went off the grid. The rest of the superheroes are in some kind of stasis. Brainiac must have implanted a failsafe. Why it went off, who knows? But we're on our own now. Green Arrow then asks, so what are we supposed to do now? Tell me the plan so that I can help. I will follow your lead. Amanda pauses and tells him, next time I say shoot, shoot. As for the plan, we need to dig up Earth's dormant cosmic seed. Back on Cthulhu, each of the teams begins getting closer to their respective trees, each having a general theme around them. The Tree of Entropy is located in the prison known as the Ultra Penance, whereas the Tree of Wonder is at the top of a temple and nearly petrified. The Tree of Mystery has no signs of anyone or anything guarding it, and the Tree of Wisdom is located within the city. But as everyone begins to get close to their trees, each team is attacked, and each with different types of beings, some robotic and some undead. Superman's group manages to get into their tree first, but as Manhunter looks down by its roots, he sees a nursery of cities. And Starro tells him, not cities, planets! And he yells, we have to free them! While Sinestro tells him that he's mad. They will be releasing tens of thousands of worlds into this room. These are ancient alien races never seen before. Do you realize the chaos that you create? And Manhunter tells him, not chaos, a mystery. Batman and his team are the next to start heading into their tree, and as they fight their way through, Deathstroke asks, why is the Teen Titan with them? He shouldn't be here. Lobo pulls Beast Boy aside and tells him, look, I know you're scared here, but you're on Team Crazy! Didn't what Deathstroke say make you want to let go? Throw yourself in his one good eye and not give a flying frag as to what happens next? Beast Boy tells him, yeah, I can do that, and he transforms into a giant-like creature. But as all the teams begin to get closer to the source of the pull, they begin to feel something. Manhunter and Cyborg begin to reach out to the other teams, and there's something wrong with Brainiac's programming that's preventing them from doing so. Batman's team finally reaches the source of their pull, and through the shadows, a voice asks, did you really think that there was any hope for Cthulhu? Brainiac may not have put his faith into the Earther heroes, but his plan required him at every step. The second that he died, this planet, as well as yours, was doomed. Lex asks, who the hell are you? And Batman tells him, his name is Vril Drox. Vril steps out and tells him, that is correct, but you can call me by the name that my father gave me, Brainiac 2.0. Within seconds of freeing Vril from his cell, Lobo gives Vril a hard elbow to the chest, stating, you better start talking and quick. Vril asks, what is there to talk about? Cthulhu is out of time and about to be eaten. The second that you managed to kill my father, all hope was lost. Lex tells him, we did not kill Brainiac. However, I may not be able to stop Lobo here unless you explain why our suits led us to you. Vril then asks, do you think that it's just a coincidence that the psychic signal that killed him came from Earth? It was your allies who doomed Brainiac. Did you really think that Brainiac, the smartest entity in the universe, was counting on 20 alien heroes to save Cthulhu without him? You were meant to act as tools, each of you with a specific role, and you functioned for him to wield. Batman says, that's right, which is why you're going to help us. Any plan of Brainiac's would have involved a backup plan. Your father's programming is inside of you. So either you help us fulfill Brainiac's plan, or we feed you to the Omega Titans as an appetizer. Vril tells Batman, you don't understand! Why would Brainiac trust you to clean up a mess that you created? When the Source Wall broke, the rules of the universe changed. The thing is, Brainiac is the missing piece. Your suits were designed so that he could channel the energy directly into him. I myself cannot replace Brainiac because those suits were made to absorb me. Brainiac set this whole thing up so that once he managed to divert the Omega Titans from Cthulhu, they could head straight to Earth and devour it in Cthulhu's stead. Once that happened, he'd be able to rule the universe without the nuisance of Earth's heroes. Beast Boy shouts, you're wrong! We can fix this! Maybe we broke the universe, but you can fix anything if you work together and trust your teammates. Vril sighs. Huh, the youth of Earth, just as blind as your mentors. Doesn't matter anymore. Soon you will be able to fully comprehend just how small you are. Meanwhile, down in the Arctic Circle, Amanda Waller and Green Arrow stand in front of one of the energy seeds planted on Earth, and Green Arrow yells, "It's hopeless? You're just assuming that the Justice League is going to fail to save Kalu? Maybe I can get a hold of Hal Jordan. All we need to do is redirect a few satellites to boost the signal." Amanda tells him, no, it's hopeless because those heroes are the ones who caused all of this. The only call that I'm going to make is to drop the largest nuclear weapon in the U.S. arsenal right here. So you better make peace with whatever higher power you want, because you're going to be seeing them soon. Green Arrow points his bow at Amanda, telling her, "Over my dead body, if you drop a nuke, you're gonna end up killing so many people." Amanda grabs her gun and yells, "It's either a handful of people or everyone, Oliver." Back up at the tomb of the ancient saint priests of Kalu, Team Wonder attempts to balance the Tree of Wonder, but quickly realize that to do so, they will need a powerful magic source. While Zatanna holds back the spirits that are attacking, she calls out that she tried to focus her magic, but these suits are limiting their capabilities. Wonder Woman then says that where she comes from, magic isn't defined by limitations, it's about belief. She isn't sure if there's enough raw magic inside of her, but she knows that she has been blessed by the gods, and right now she can feel the tree calling out to something within her. She takes her lasso and she wraps it around the Tree of Wonder, shouting, "For Kalu, for Earth, for Wonder!" And as the lasso begins to shine, the Tree of Wonder's energy begins to be restored. Wonder Woman then sends a message to everyone that they did it. The Tree of Wonder is alive. They still have a fighting chance. But over at the Tree of Wisdom, Cyborg says that that's easier said than done. However, are we supposed to outthink the smartest alien alive? Harley tells him, "It's about thinking outside of the box. You're being way too literal. Plug A into B and download C. Why not plug into a unicorn and download a tornado?" Cyborg tells her that that doesn't make any sense, but suddenly it does. We don't need Brainiac. We just plug into the tree with my mother box. Brainiac is smart, but he can't reprogram multiversal tech. Cyborg then connects into the Tree of Wisdom, and he starts to take in all of its information, but as he does, he shouts that there is just so much data! As Cyborg maintains the data stream, the tree slowly begins to become darker, and just then, Cyborg sees a small fruit growing out of one of its branches. He reaches out, stating that this is the seed that the Omega Titans planted from the fruit of the tree. The AI is telling him that it is important. Over at the Tree of Mystery, John tells everyone that it's up to them. They are to protect the minds of these people on these frozen worlds. We have to free them from the nursery. Superman asks Sinestro if he can create a construct that will carry these worlds out, and Sinestro tells him, "Yes, but I still feel that this is a dangerous idea. The second that they are out of containment, they will grow to natural size." Starfire? But as Starfire looks at the Wall of Worlds, she quietly says, "No, this is Tamaran. We have to free my people." Jean asks Starro if he could, and Starro tells him, okay, I'll try to calm their minds and tell them that it's okay. Don't make me a liar, Marty. While Sinestro tries to free the collected planets, the Omega Titans appear, and they begin to reach down towards the Tree of Wisdom to collect its fruit. The Justice League all gather together, and they slow the Titan down, but the demon Etrigan then tells everyone, "It sees us as ants and flies to be swatted away in a breeze." As the Titan effortlessly knocks everyone away, Starro tells Adam that he's going to need his help on this one. Invert the frequency of the Door Star in his belt and fire it at him. Adam then says, "There's no telling what that's going to do, but here it goes." And as soon as Starro is hit, his body begins to grow, and soon it becomes big enough to cover the Titan's face. He latches on, shouting, "I have conquered worlds upon worlds! The puny mind of an Omega Titan is no match for me!" While Starro keeps the Titan busy, the heroes all begin to evacuate the planet, fearing the worst. But then, it happens. The Titan reaches up to his face and he rips Starro in half and off his face. Harley then says, "Wait, the Titan killed the starfish? We were winning." And Damian tells her, "No, my father and the League were wrong, we're lost." And that's when they hear a massive crack-a-doom as the Titan begins to devour the planet of Kalu. Back on Earth, the sound of the seed being activated can be heard, and Amanda asks Green Arrow if he can hear it. His friends have failed. Lower the bow and the arrow. And Green Arrow yells, "Either you shoot me or you give me the radio to make the call to Hal. I will not let you kill my friends and family no matter how many space gods there are." Amanda pulls the trigger, and Green Arrow releases the bowstring. His arrow shoots down the barrel of Amanda's gun. She drops it, stating that it's too late. He's doomed them all. Green Arrow grabs her radio, shouting that whoever is on the line, he needs them to redirect all satellite signals to boost a signal from his location to the Green Lantern Corps. And just as he says that, the energy seeds begin to sprout, bringing forth trees and star labs.
See, this is just another one of those nothing stories. Like,
with them, the
only memorable thing that's happened so far is the Justice League worked with Brainiac for like 2 seconds.
No, they won't. Welcome, Mr. Queen. to the end of the world.
It all was just an excuse to fuck each other over.
A short while later,
So,
over at the source wall, where this all began, Green Lantern Corps continues to try and hold everything together to avoid anything spilling out into the universe. But as they do, Hal's ring notifies him that there's an incoming signal from Green Arrow. He answers the call and he says that he's sure that whatever Green Arrow needs is important, but the Corps is dealing with the end of the universe thing right now. And Green Arrow tells him, Hal, yeah, I know. You're doing a crap job. The 4 space gods just entered Earth's atmosphere. And if you don't get here fast, we're all gonna be eaten. Meanwhile, outside of the wreckage of the planet of Kalu, everyone looks out the window of Brainiac's ship, stating that they just let it blow up. None of those green folks have a home anymore. Superman asks Cyborg what about the ship, and Cyborg tells him that the blast damaged the ship's core. Perhaps Vril can, but before they can finish, Vril tells everyone to have a good hard look outside. You want me to help? You just released Kalu's nursery. All of those planets have thousands of neighbors that they never asked for, and among them are the refugees of Kalu, home of the most noble and ancient race. The Omega Titans would have just remained at rest were it not for you. So, can I fix your ship? Of course. But will I? Not a chance. You deserve precisely what you have coming to you. Vril then turns the ship's core and begins calibrating its circuits and starts to fade away. But before fully leaving, he looks back at everyone stating, I am Brainiac 2.0. And it's about time I started to live up to that name. Cyborg runs over to try and stop him, but as Vril fades away, Cyborg shouts, the core, it's surging worse than before. I won't be able to hold off the explosion. I am. John stops him, stating that they must find a way together. I know that you all feel tired and the fear is radiating off of you, but Brainiac could not have predicted the things that have happened. Like Starro, one of our greatest enemies, sacrificing himself so that we could escape. We need to think big. We need to do what we never could of before. Something Brainiac never expected. What Vril docks couldn't have seen a million miles away. A short while later, at the Fortress of Solitude, Supergirl flies around the Tree of Mystery, looking for Green Arrow's last known signal. But as she makes another pass, Vril fires a gun from the tree into the air, hitting Supergirl, and he sighs, stating, I forgot Earth had so many heroes. The blast hits Supergirl, knocking her out of the air, and Vril says that it matters not. When he is done, he's going to accelerate the tree's growth, and it'll be unstoppable. Once that's done, he'll retrieve everything that was taken from his father and watch this cool planet get torn apart. Moments later at Belle Reve, the Tree of Entropy looms over the prison, and Amanda gets off her helicopter telling her assistants that she needs a line to the President and General Lane. She's ready to discuss the nuclear option and also do her a favor, arrest Green Arrow since he's the one to blame for the space god showing up to eat them. But before Amanda could walk in, Vril appears behind her and says, hello, my name is Brainiac 2.0.
I'm doing a squadron mission.
Thanks. Just as
I got my own little team of NPCs
green fist, and Hal tells
that work on behalf of the grand company I'm with.
So I brought a few. Vril picks himself up, stating that he and Amanda understand each other very well. Only someone as ruthless as her could have murdered Brainiac.
Yeah.
The heroes seek to save everyone, calling it justice, but Amanda here, she knows that it will only bring chaos.
What's going on in your life?
Proven when Belle Reve grew the Tree of Entropy. I've accelerated the process by which the planet's dormant force becomes supreme. See how fast it's growing? You are species of chaotic monsters. You ooze entropy. The only way to combat the chaos that you bleed is to do what she does, survive. One of the assistants comes out, opening up a briefcase for Amanda, stating that she has full authorization to deploy whatever weaponry she sees fit. As she takes the nuclear switch, a guy tells her that there's no way that they're going to let her do that. The death toll could be, but she stops him, stating that she is well aware, but the cold truth is that there is no justice in the universe. It's an illusion, and there are certainly no damn heroes who can save them from this. Just then there's a loud boom, and Batman's team jumps out, and he says, maybe not, but we're sure as hell going to try. As the group lands, Batman begins to scan the tree, and then says that Vril sped up the growth of the trees. They're sending signals to each other rapidly, but Entropy has taken the lead. We need to hurry and balance out the growth. Then we'll have a fighting chance. Hal and Green Arrow look at Deathstroke and Lex, stating, did you make some new friends in space, Batman?
And he's hanging on.
Kind of expecting the Justice League in this one. And Beast Boy tells him, right now, we are the Justice League. Batman radios to Cyborg, telling him that they need to move fast to get everyone to their respective
What's for lunch today?
And Vril starts laughing, saying, this is good. Now you can all die together. Soon, all of the teams arrive at the trees, and they begin to remove Vril's devices that are speeding up the growth. As everyone attempts to attack the devices, their attacks seem to bounce off, though. Wonder Woman radios that this isn't working, they need something more, and they do, in fact, have a Brainiac. Vril says that Brainiac's data was downloaded to Earth, right? And Cyborg says, she's right. We need to find the source of the Brainiac hack and find out who. Green Arrow jumps in the conversation, stating, you don't have to look that far, I already know. Stand by. Green Arrow then turns to Amanda, telling her that the only way to do this is the League way. So please, gives Cyborg the Brainiac files. After a few moments, she radios to her team, telling them to get the uplink ready. Let Cyborg in.
Remember, if it
Soon,
actually
Cyborg
matters
connects
to get
to
rid
the
of those
uplink
little
and he
fire
scans the files,
things,
stating
they're
that he can
not gonna come
appreciate
out.
Amanda's thoroughness, because right now, they have themselves a Brainiac. With this, they can steal Brainiac's moves and supercharge the seeds. If they see another, they can redirect the Titan's attention from Earth entirely. All of the heroes begin to supercharge their trees, and as they do, they begin to notice the trees bearing seeds. Cyborg takes the wisdom seeds and begins to charge it directly using his own wisdom. And once it's ready, Cyborg says, all right, now we just need to do that with all the others. Flash hurries back, taking
that
more
what the
seeds,
kids are
giving them to
calling
Wonder
it
Woman
now?
and Jean. Both of them charge the seeds with wonder and mystery, leaving the remaining seed to be entropy. But as Deathstroke attempts to charge his seed with his own lack of order, nothing happens. Lex tells him to hand over the seed, and Deathstroke asks him, why? You're a hero now. You wouldn't be able to charge. But as Lex takes it, he concentrates his entropy, and soon it charges the seed. Superman takes the seed, rushing back to Cyborg, stating, all right, we have all the seeds. What now? Cyborg tells him that
So
the
they
way to
needed
take
some
this
good
and fire
seeds
it
and
right
bad
into the entropy
seeds.
Titan. It's not charged with one energy, it's
And
charged
Lex
with
was
four.
still
Once
evil
the
enough
seed
to pull
lands
it
into the
off.
Titan, his brothers will feed on him instead. However, their plan is also based on whether the Titan would be full, which hopefully is for another millennium. Hal takes the seed and creates a construct gun, stating, this is gonna be insane, but okay. We just need to trick the space gods to eat each other. No big deal. But before loading it, Green Arrow tells him to hang on. No offense.
Right.
You're a lousy shot. Let me be the one to do that. Hal begins to make a giant ballista, and he tells him that he's going to give him one hell of a comment for that later. Soon, Green Arrow fires the arrow, and as he does, the predictions come true. Brill, seeing the League's plan as actually working, quickly teleports
Go
himself
back.
off world before they know. Because he also knows that this is not the end of the Earthers.
Nope.
As the arrow pierces the entropy Titan, its brothers begin to feed on him, and as they finish, they all fade away. As the skies begin to open back up, Harley says that, what if what they did with the Titans just made the whole situation worse? Jean tells her that it is possible, but if they've learned anything is that the universe is changing. It's becoming bigger, wilder, and more dangerous. Old assumptions about the multiverse, about each other must change,
Little
for the better
further back.
or the worse. And just as he says that, Lex communicates to Jean, stating that once before he said that he would burn him if he ever tried to read his mind again. Jean tells him yes, but he can sense it now. He is leaving. Lex says that he said it himself. They've been thinking far too small, and what he saw here changes everything. It means he's been wrong. John says that the Justice League could use his help, but Lex stops him, stating that the Earth is tipped towards entropy, not justice. He needs to prepare, as they should also. He'll be seeing them, perhaps sooner than they like. With that, the
I
League
sure
members
could use a
begin to make
shortcut.
their own preparations for whatever is next. Batman begins to build a team to deal with the things that the League can't handle publicly, involving Black Lightning. Jean gives Green Arrow something that
There we
could very
go.
well be the most dangerous thing on the planet. He says that when there were no heroes on Earth, he stood
Gotta
up
love
against
a
the
nice,
impossible.
easy
That is why he's
fix.
trusting him with this. The League is changing, and if they step
All right,
out
keep
too
it
far,
going.
he
Come
needs
on.
someone who can stop them. He must keep the box safe. It is the key to destroying the League should the need arise. Wonder Woman works with Zatanna to search for answers as to why she was able to charge the Tree of Wonder with having no powers in the field of magic. And with that, the Justice League holds their first meeting as the new Justice League, with Jean being elected as the chairman, and now with everyone branching off into their own paths. It's time for the world to see new justice. There is no warning once it breaks free. It simply does. There is no stopping it once it finds its target. It just moves towards it. There's no stopping it. Not in the future, not in the past, not in the present. For those who have seen it, they already know what's about to happen, and there is no preparation for what's about to come next. However, for the Justice League, they know not of the coming danger, only the task at hand. Neanderthals started to appear across the globe, and members of the League broke up into 6 teams to combat the threats. There's something different about these things. They've achieved high levels of evolution, and they all want to claim Earth. And all above them sits the Martian, Jean Johns. The one keeping everyone in touch with one another through his mind. The Martian of Manhunter. These are his allies, his friends, even his family. He's been away for a long time, but still marvels at the sight. As Jean watches, he knows that this is an attack 50,000 years in the making, and it is the work of one of the League's greatest enemies, Vandal Savage. The battle begins to lean in the favor of the League, and that is until there's a sudden turn. All across the globe, the heroes feel a shift in the ground, and it's going up. Voices begin to fill Jean's head asking what's going on, and as he sifts through everyone's thoughts on the planet, he finds what he is looking for. He tells everyone what just happened. The Earth's crust is being pulled towards the moon. It's a molten iron ring that has become a cyclotron, and they need to destroy it. He shall strike the moon at full speed. As a like monster. At that very moment, they're going to need Batman to activate the bombs that he placed in the moon long ago. Bruce asks, why would I place bombs on the... And John stops him, and Bruce says, fine. John changes his form and flies towards the moon with enough force to destroy it with Bruce's help. But watching them is Vandal Savage. The primitive man shouts that they were supposed to have the Earth, and Vandal tells them that it is a slight setback. This is the first part of his plan. The next starts now, and it will make good on the promise to their new Injustice gang. But then a voice calls out telling him that his plan failed, and Vandal Savage yells asking, who dares? Lex Luthor steps forward telling him, I do. And I'm here to tell you that all of your plans will fail because you have chosen justice. Vandal tells him, you have some gall to come here. Injustice? Aren't you the one playing hero now? Vandal Savage gets ready to attack, but Lex shoots him with a blast, freezing him in place, telling him, I am a hero. And I know what's been hidden from me and the others of this planet, the darkest secret of the universe. So I am here to rescue you from life. The Neanderthals all begin to retreat, and Jean tells everyone that there is something that he saw, something big, and they all need to meet in the psychic boardroom. Within a blink of an eye, the League members find themselves sitting in a cosmic boardroom, and Barry Allen asks what's going on. Jean tells him that he brought them all here because he detected something while at the moon, something bigger than Vandal's plan. Cyborg says that it did feel premature, like the tribes were ready. And Jean says exactly. Vandal's real hope is that the Earth, once its crust is shed, will drift out into orbit and move out of the way. Superman then asks, move out of the way from what? And Jean tells him, you all know about the battle with the Dark Multiverse. The Source Wall was broken. Moments ago, something came to life, something containing all of the wall's energy. This totality is rocketing towards the Earth, and it will impact in 3 minutes. Batman asks Cyborg if he can get a read on it, and Cyborg scans it, stating, whatever that energy is, it's older than anything in the multiverse. It's moving with a kind of purpose. Superman asks, could it be possible that it's coming here for a reason? If our multiverse is dying, maybe this thing could help. Cyborg tells him that he's not sure. It's sending out some sort of code, and he can't decipher the whole thing. It's mathematical, architectural, like this. Cyborg begins to draw lines, and Batman says that there is a myth on New Genesis, that the Source Wall was an incubator. When our universe was ready, a messenger would come. It would come with a code to evolve the universe. Back with Vandal Savage and Lex, Vandal shouts, unfreeze me! But all the Neanderthals shout, Luthor, we pledge allegiance to you. Lex then asks him, huh? And one of the Neanderthals tells him, yes, we are leaders of proud lines and inheritors to this planet, and we will follow you. We will be your Injustice gang. Lex says that he'll have to give him some time to think about that. And he presses a button on his wrist stating, no. And suddenly all the Neanderthals begin to drop into a pit. Back at the cosmic boardroom, Cyborg asks, how are we supposed to stop it? And Batman tells him, I have a contingency plan. And he just called me. Just then, John Stewart radios in that he's standing by, and Bruce explains that John has a bullet that contains a miniaturized omniversal wormhole. It's encased in the 10th metal, and it should transport the totality outside of the Source Wall and destroy it. All he needs is the order. Back with Lex, he tells Vandal, I want to hear it from you. You knew what the Source Wall really was and what was inside of it. Vandal struggles, shouting, don't do this. And then there's a knocking sound. Lex asks who could it be, and Vandal yells, we can join forces. And Lex stops him, telling him, no. You're the one human being who knew the truth, and you hid it from everyone. You built an Injustice gang, when what we really needed was a damn legion. In a flash of lights, Sinestro, Gorilla Grodd, Joker, Black Manta, and Cheetah step out, and Joker says, language, Lex! There are freaking children listening somewhere! Lex holds out his hand, seemingly with nothing, and he asks, can you see this? It's like a doorknob. You probably can't see it. To see it requires inner vision. It was the key, and it happens to be made of the only thing that can kill you. Vandal struggles more, telling him, you can kill me if you must, but the truth that you seek, don't. It's too horrible, Lex. Lex tells him, oh, I know, and I cannot wait. While the League continues to decide what to do, Lex takes that doorknob and he begins to beat Vandal to death with it. Cyborg then says, this is for justice. Jean gets ready to make the call, but then he hesitates, and he hears a shriek, and it's so loud that it shakes him from his connection to the others, leaving him alone. He saw things that he would never want to know about the past, about the sins committed, the abominations unearthed. He saw what was coming, new armies across space, ancient gods revived, and behind all of this there was an evil laughter. What he saw was himself alone, just months from now at the end of everything. The last living thing in the Omniverse. Everyone else gone. All of it built over an unseen door, a secret that no one has known. And Jean told himself that he needed to go back to change everyone's mind. But when he went to go to the boardroom, his friends were gone. As Jean watched the thing come, he told himself that what he had seen wasn't true, that whatever inside of the totality was good. And elsewhere, Lex holds up the bloody doorknob, stating, "Oh, Jean, here we go. In 3, 2, 1, doom." Sometime before, there was a point in where Lex did not know about this doorknob. He happened to come in contact with it by chance by buying the old Legionnaires Club in Kansas. His father used to attend the club, and so to honor his family, he took the building and loaded it with explosives. Just as all of the men began to run out of the building, Lex noticed a door that no one was using. Upon further investigation, he saw that there was a symbol on that doorknob, and not just anyone could see that doorknob. Back in our current time, John makes his way through space with the prisoner Grelock in custody. Guardians radio to him that once they have a cell ready, he can teleport the prisoner over. John tells them all right. But if I may, the cosmic membrane, the readings that I'm getting, Grelock laughs, telling him, the cosmic membrane is getting weaker, isn't it? You and your friends broke the source wall, and now forces are unleashed, ancient dark forces. As Grelock goes on, John gets up from his chair, punching him back into his cell. Just then, Swamp Thing appears over the blue Mobius flower that John kept at his station, and John asks, "What are you doing here?" Swamp Thing tells him, "I come only to bring a message." And his form begins to change into that of Batman. Batman tells John, "We tried to contact you, but you switched off your comms." And John tells him, "Well, the Guardians didn't want anyone to know about this mission." Batman tells him, "I have a bigger request to make. Join us on the Justice League right now." As you know, a week ago, an energy source containing all of the power of the Source Wall landed in the Nevada desert. We're calling it the Totality. It started a protective shell around it, and the object looks like a head. Deep inside this shell lies the Totality itself. It's sending out a code. As the Lanterns learn, the multiverse is dying, and I think that this may be the key to fixing it, but we're going to need your help, John. If anyone knows anything about what we're up against, it'd be you, and I know that you know something, but that's not why I want you on the team. John begins to sit back in his chair, telling Bruce, "I'm sorry, but I got a job to do out here." Then Bruce yells, "We're running out of time, John!" The Justice League Dark has hidden the Totality from the public as long as they can. The other day, Killer Croc entered the energy shell, and a few moments later, he rematerialized near Belle Reve Prison, but he had been transformed. There was a loud roar over the intercom, and John asks, "What was that?" And Batman tells him, "That would be Croc." Back on Earth, a giant mutated Croc charges at the Justice League, even having oxidized kryptonite breath that can stop Superman. Batman tells John that whatever happened to Croc changed his cells, allowing him to adapt to make the perfect monster to fight against the League. Ever since Zanshi, you've been nothing more than a soldier, John. We need you to come back and be an architect like you once were. We need the John who uses his knowledge to build things that can reach beyond what seems possible. John sulks in his chair, stating, "Jean, Martian Manhunter was there with me back on Zanshi when I screwed up. If he's forgiven me, then why isn't he calling me, Bruce?" Batman tells him, "That's because his hands are full turning into a giant gorilla to fight against Croc." Batman calls back to John again, but he hears nothing. Once Croc is taken down, Martian Manhunter asks, "How did it go?" And Batman says, "I can't tell yet. My hope is that he's thinking about it at least." Also at this time, Lex's new Legion of Doom arrives in a base deep in the sea, and as Black Manta looks around, he asks, "How have I had no knowledge of this base?" Lex tells him, "No one knows about it, except the people who built it 100 years ago. Did you know that the original form of the word doom simply meant fate? 3 months ago, I opened up a door that revealed to me my own fate. And not just my own, but everyone and everything's fate." Grodd says that he didn't sign up for a mystical mumbo-jumbo. "I joined so that I could get my revenge on that speedster for what he's..." Lex stops him, telling him, "You will, but on a scale not imagined before. Look here." Lex holds up the doorknob, stating, "This totality is the key to everything. But to control it, we must first unlock the 7 hidden forces of the universe. Each force is something each one of us has been looking for our whole life, whether we know it or not." Lex then motions towards a case, stating, "I've already unlocked the first force, the one that will destroy Grodd's foe. I couldn't have done it without the help of a true evil genius who happens to be right over here. Say hello to your new partner, Grodd." Grodd looks in a case and he sees a baby. As he picks it up, he asks, "What the hell is this? Wait, is this who I think it is?" Lex tells him, "Connect with him and find out." And as for the second hidden force, Sinestro is already on his way to claim it. A section of the emotional spectrum that is off limits to everyone. That is, until now. Meanwhile, over in the Hall of Justice, the Flash gets to work building a vehicle, and Kendra Saunders, Hawkgirl, asks what does he think could be the cause of all of these speed bumps. The Flash says that if he was to guess, it would be an old villain of his named Turtle. He believed that there was an opposing force to the Speed Force that he called the Still Force. This car is for the Titans so that they can handle Turtle, but the totality is our #1 priority. We need to get there before anyone else does. Martian Manhunter's voice calls out that that is correct. In fact, we need to go to the totality today. The Flash says, good, I've got about 1,000 tests to run, and Martian Manhunter stops him, telling him, you aren't coming. The Flash shouts, asking, what, you're sidelining me? Superman tells him, we can't risk losing you. If your powers fail, that's why Jean and I are going in. The Flash says, well, at least I can vibrate fast enough to, but Batman pops on the screen stating, vibrating won't work. The only members that can resist the pathogenic mutagens long enough are Superman and Martian Manhunter. With a bit of help staving off the cells, they could reach the totality itself. Ray Palmer and myself have created a size, transmutable protective vehicle that, and the Flash stops him asking, wait, where are you, Bruce? Batman tells him, inside Clark's body. Superman says, that is something that never needs to be said again. But we have a second pod that needs to go inside of Martian Manhunter. Jean then tells Kendra, I'd like you to be the pilot. You know the weapons of war, and this will be a war of endurance. Kendra shouts, asking, you want me? I'm still trying to figure out my powers. My wings used to be made out of feathers, now they're metal. The Flash shrugs, stating, you know, she can take my spot. But while the Justice League makes their preparations, back in space, John reads the scans of the cosmic membrane, stating that it's all falling apart. He can almost see what's on the other, and a voice comes over the comms asking, what is on the other side? The thing that some have sought for eons, the pathway to where all of your hidden feelings lie. Your darkest emotions, hate, bloodlust. John shouts, asking, who's there? And the voice comes in louder, stating, right here, Stewart. Just then, a purple force begins to wrap around John Stewart, and Sinestro floats forward, stating, you have known me to wear green and yellow, but now I am back in the colors that I sought from the start. Allow me to reintroduce myself. I am Sinestro, the Lantern who just unlocked the invisible emotional spectrum, and you will be my first recruit. Back under, Superman and Martian Manhunter suit up and they begin to make their way to the totality. As Batman and Hawkgirl sit inside of their pods, inside of the two of them, the Flash says that he scanned the face and nothing matches the face of the totality. Hawkgirl then stares for a moment and says that it looks so familiar. As Superman tells them, whatever it is, it's time that they found out. Superman and Martian Manhunter place their hands on the totality shell and start to push through. But at the same time, back at the Hall of Justice, a voice calls out, by the shield of day and the shield of night, we feed and grow beyond all sight of unseen light. John comes crashing down, now wearing a purple uniform, and as Diana asks what's going on, John tells them, I am the head of the Ultraviolent Corps, and now you will all die. Back at the Legion of Doom hideout, Lex says that they will be the ones to lead the world towards truth. Cheetah scratches her chin, stating that she's not so sure. She's got a pretty good nose for when somebody is lying, and well. Cheetah then lunges forward, swiping and ripping off Lex's face, and Black Manta laughs, stating, well, a Lexbot. So much for a team, huh? As the Lexbot tries to stand back up, Cheetah asks, if you aren't here, where are you? The Lexbot says, believe me, I say I've been many places around the world. Hell, around the universe. But of all places that I've been, where I am right now just might be one of my favorite places. Lex then begins to laugh, an evil, maniacal, planning laughter, while piloting through the red blood cells of a pod, similar to Batman and Hawkgirl's. Superman and Jean make their way towards the outer shell of the totality, and Lex could practically hear the hero scream, the smell of sizzling blood, and he could see it all just ahead. He just can't freaking wait. And with that, we will be leaving you here. Lex is inside of one of the bodies of Superman or Martian Manhunter. Batman and Hawkgirl are also inside, trying to survive the journey, while Superman and Martian Manhunter are making their way towards the totality to see what is going on, while Flash has been sidelined, and there is a new still force. And all the while, John Stewart has been converted to a force of evil. Back at the Hall of Justice, John Stewart stands up staring at everyone, now consumed by a new light, by the ultraviolet light. And Diana shouts, "You are better than this. Whatever this is that has a grip on you, we are your friends here. No, I'm not stronger than this. I've seen what's inside of me as well as what is inside of everyone else. There is no helping me or any of you." He holds out his ring as several demon constructs fly out of the ring. Diana charges forward with her lasso, stating that they will soon see the truth of what is really going on. But before she could snare John, a construct shoots up between them, punching Diana away, and John tells her, "No!" Soon the demons begin to beat down at each of the League members, but Arthur spots an opening in the fight to get to John himself. He thrusts his trident, but before he could reach John, John tells everyone, "You will all die here because your flesh is weak." Using the League's shame and hatred, John begins to create a giant monster, shouting, "Do you hear me? Flesh is weak." As the monster begins to bring down its massive arm onto Arthur, Cyborg runs and shielding him, telling him, "Yeah, no argument about that." John yells at him, "There is still enough man inside of your body to reveal your darkest self. Allow me to rip it out of." But Cyborg stops him, telling him, "Sorry about this." And he hits him with a sonic blast, knocking him away. Everyone begins to get back up, and Diana asks, "Gods, what has happened to him?" And Cyborg says, "I'm not really sure, but clearly he's lost his way." Back over at the Totality Shell, Superman and Martian Manhunter fight their way towards the center, while Batman and Hawkgirl begin to battle against the pathogenic mutagens trying to invade their very bloodstreams, since the both of them have been shrunken down and placed into the bodies of Superman and Martian Manhunter. As Hawkgirl clears out another wave of mutagens, Hawkgirl begins to notice that these mutagens aren't even attacking the brain, they're coming straight for her. Batman tells her that that wouldn't make sense. Use the White Dwarf Pulse. And Kendra shouts that would kill millions of brain cells. Batman says, "Martian Manhunter can regrow them, but he can't regrow you. Do it now!" Hawkgirl presses the button, releasing the pulse, telling Martian Manhunter that she's sorry about the headache, and she destroys the group of mutagens surrounding her. While the two continue their journey, behind Batman's pod, Lex Luthor listens in while fighting his own group of mutagens, and he smiles. A short while later, over the Hall of Justice Infirmary, John Stewart slowly begins to wake up, asking, "What just happened?" Cyborg tells him, "You're probably going to want to explain. You were in deep space when you caught wind of an unidentifiable energy signature, and it came back with you." Diana then asks, "What was it that we just fought?" And John Stewart tells her, "It's something called the invisible spectrum. While the lanterns control the emotional spectrum, the invisible spectrum controls the user." Flash asks, "Why haven't we heard of this before? We have like a whole crayon box of lantern colors already. Where did this one come from?" John tells him, "It's something that I first saw many years ago when I battled against the anti-life equation on the planet of Zanshi. I was with Martian Manhunter, but with his fear of fire, we were slowing down, so I decided to go on ahead alone. Because I was acting so rash, millions of lives are gone. Afterwards, I went back to try and search for anything that could bring Zanshi back. But then I found something completely unexpected. The book described a spectrum beyond one that any of us knew. It was supposed to be a warning. The book was one man's mission to make sure that it was never unlocked, and that man was Sinestro. What he described in the book was terrifying, and in the heart of it, there was a phantom galaxy powered by a sentient black sun called Umbrex. Umbrex moves unseen through space and is drawn towards the planets where self-destructive forces are the strongest, usually in primitive nature. It then surrounds these planets, animating them with its energy and pulling them into its galaxy. There's no stopping it once it's locked onto a planet." Arthur asks, "The source wall breaking is what caused the door to be opened, huh?" And John creates the symbol that he saw, stating that that is what kicked it off, sure, but there's more. Sinestro wrote that the invisible spectrum was linked to 6 other forces, all of them locked by some sort of cosmic stasis that had to be accessed first. I wasn't sure that any of this was real, but apparently it all just took over my brain and tried to force me to kill everyone. Cyborg tells him, "Yeah, I used irradiated ozone to cosmically sunblock you out of your trance. The problem is the energy's getting stronger." Flash calls out, "All right, we'll divide and conquer. You guys go try and locate the living galaxy while I look for the still force." Back with the other Superman and Martian Manhunter make it out of the woods and out into an opening. Superman says that they need to take it slow. Something is off here. Batman radios that the mutagens are starting to slow down, and Hawkgirl adds, "Yeah, a calm before the storm." Superman looks back towards the Totality, asking, "What is that?" And Martian Manhunter looks up excitedly, stating, "My God!" He flies over to the Totality, stating, "These look like the giants that were trapped in the source wall. We've never understood who or what they are, but I can sense life in them." Superman tells them to be careful. They don't fully know what they're dealing with. And Martian Manhunter yells, "The Totality is trying to talk to me. I can read their minds. Superman calls out that he needs to slow down, but inside of Superman, Lex Luthor says, no, don't slow down. Martian Manhunter reaches out to one of the giants, allowing himself to see through the giant's mind and convert it into something that he can understand. But instead of seeing wonder, he sees something else entirely. He stumbles back, asking, what did I just see? The giant tried to communicate with me, and it says that you, the first abomination, you must be destroyed. Over with the others, the Flash's triangulation on the Still Force has led Diana, Arthur, and himself to the location deep in the safe. As the three walk into the facility, Diana looks around, stating that this place is practically Amazonian in design. And Arthur says, yeah, but there's Atlantean tech. But as the three of them pass by some test tubes, Flash asks, what's inside of there? He wipes away the dust to see what looks like a white Martian, but more animalistic. Suddenly, the Martian's eyes open and it begins to bang its head against the glass. The Flash tells everyone that they might have a problem here, and then all of the Martians begin to break free from their test tubes. But while everyone is having their own fights, with Diana, Arthur, and the Flash battling against the Martians under the ocean, with Superman and Martian Manhunter battling against the creatures of the Source Wall, with Batman unaware that Lex Luthor is behind him, there's one person who doesn't appear to be in a battle just yet. A shadow begins to rise up behind Hawkgirl in her pod, and the Joker almost lets out a laugh as he holds out his chainsaw. He places his fingers on his lips to keep himself quiet. And up with what remains of the watchtower from Martian Manhunter's attack, John and Cyborg search through the computer to try and see if they can locate the traces of this ultraviolet light, this unknown energy. Cyborg says that it's strange, the power is strong, yet there is no sign of this unknown galaxy anywhere near the outer rim. What the hell does Sinestro take? Just then there's an explosion of ultraviolet light and Sinestro floats down with John shouting, why are you doing this? You're the one who helped lock away the invisible spectrum. Why would you set Umbrax free? Sinestro tells him, I wasn't going to. The truth is that I came to that lonely sector to lock it away once again, but when I arrived, Umbrax had slipped away. The bonds were already broken by the activation of the Still Force. John yells, asking, where is it then? As Sinestro says, as I wrote, it's drawn to worlds of the darkest, most self-destructive energy. Connect to the spectrum and see where it is. As the invisible spectrum ring appears on John's finger again, he begins screaming, no! Cyborg asks what's happening. Sinestro tells him, John is seeing the truth that everyone will soon see. The world that Umbrax is drawn to is yours. The invisible spectrum is already here, and Earth has joined its ranks. Back at the Totality, Martian Manhunter and Superman begin to fight against the giants, the ones that were once locked away in the Source Wall, with Martian Manhunter shouting, you lie! Get out of my head, foul beings! And Superman asks, what are they telling you? Say something. The giants attack, yelling, we are her architects, and you were her downfall. The first cell is removed. Die, abominations. Martian Manhunter begins to slow down, stating that this must be some sort of defense, something to try and test him, to look for the truth behind. One of the giants begins to focus its attacks on Martian Manhunter, so Superman rockets through, knocking him out of the way, telling him, snap out of it! But inside of Martian Manhunter, the Joker begins to laugh as he starts his chainsaw, and Hawkgirl radios out to the others. Joker says, I wouldn't bother trying! They can't hear you! Hawkgirl swings back, stating, joke's on you. My wings are in metal. That thing won't even put a scratch to them. She then looks into Joker's eyes and she realizes that he didn't bring that to clip her wings. He brought it to cut off her head. He begins to bash her with the motor of the saw, and Batman calls out asking, what's happening? Why are communications cut? And then he hears it. The worst sound on Earth. Batman tries to put things together. There's only 2 or 3 people smart enough to have pulled this off. Brainiac is dead and Luthor isn't a villain anymore. But that's when the bullets start to hit his pod. So many that Batman is forced to eject. As he plans his next move, he asks, which will be what? He planned for every outcome, but now he couldn't have planned for a human evil so deep inside, targeting both him and Hawkgirl. The pathogens shriek as they approach, but before Batman can make a move, the pathogens swallow him whole. Back on the moon, John Stewart creates a construct cannon telling Cyborg, we need to hit him with everything that we got. Sinestro gave the Earth to Umbrax. This is now war. The two of them blast into Sinestro, with him easily deflecting the attack, stating that he understands that they may think their will is stronger than the ugliness inside, but they can only avoid looking for so long. See it, John. Embrace the real you. John yells, just shut up! As long as I have this ring on my finger, I will always. Sinestro releases an attack of his own, stating, do go on. As John holds up his arms to block the attack, he begins to feel something give, and then his ring shatters. No more Green Lantern. Cyborg calls out asking what just happened, and John asks, "What's happening to me?" Sinestro tells him, "It's simple. I just infused the last of your cells with the ultraviolet energy, making your transformation permanent. Welcome to the core. You will never be a Green Lantern again, John Stewart." John and Cyborg jet off to the moon, and Sinestro says, "That's right. Run." Down in the sea below, though, Diana, Flash, and Arthur continue fighting off the White Martians, with Arthur asking Flash if it's possible for him to check the rest of the base. Flash tells him that he would, but the Still Force is still messing with his powers. It's like when he fought the Turtle. He seems to be running slower when he tries to run faster. It doesn't make any sense. But when they fought, the Turtle was old and weak. Someone must have stolen his abilities and enhanced them. But how? Just then, an energy pulse hits the room, stunning everyone, and a voice tells the Flash, "It was easy. It was like taking candy from a... well, you get the idea." Grodd walks out with a child from before strapped to his chest, and Arthur shouts, "Only a monster would use a child." The Flash yells to Grodd that they need to stop this. The Still Force is universe-ending stuff. And Grodd says, "I know, we're counting on it. Aren't we, Junior?" And the baby laughs. Grodd hits everyone again with another pulse, and the Flash gets up, looking at the baby, stating, "That can't be." And Grodd laughs, telling him, "Say hello to Turtle. In fact, this whole place is full of old acquaintances. Just look around." Diana looks around to see Cheetah, and Arthur sees Black Manta. Flash shouts, "Just leave them alone. The fight is between us, Grodd." Grodd asks, "You want me to release your friends to fight?" "I'd be happy to, because the combat they are actually in is with each other." You see, Diana is seeing Cheetah, but it's actually Aquaman. And Aquaman is actually seeing Black Manta, but it is actually Wonder Woman. They're about to kill each other because the real Cheetah and Black Manta are right behind Grodd. Flash gets up shouting, "I won't let you." And Grodd hits Flash with another blast, telling him, "Please try and give it your all." Back at the Totality, one of the Giants calls for the others to wait. "There has been a change. The energy that we feel, it's the First Force. The Still Force is almost..." Lex, inside of his pod, laughs, looking at the doorknob, stating, "Yes, it's almost unlocked." While the Giants are distracted, Superman grabs Martian Manhunter, flying back, asking Martian Manhunter, "What did you see?" And Martian Manhunter tells him it has to be a lie. It has to be. The Superman tells him, "That's enough. We are always connected to each other, but never to you directly." "Why, Martian Manhunter?" Martian Manhunter begins to speak, but then he looks away, stating that he is sorry. While he was away, he was on a mission to discover what really happened with the destruction of his planet Mars. Their people had a collective mind, but there was one of them tasked with retaining the history of Mars itself. It was a secret position hidden off the planet, the one called the Keep. The Keep was located on Thanagar, homeworld to the Hawk people, but her memory... it was whole. Even still, she confirmed that what killed Mars was a telepathic plague that she called Horonmeat's Curse. It took psychic form of whatever its hosts worshipped and turned that against themselves. For them, it was fire. As the Totality approached them, Vandal Savage sent him a vision. It was a Martian child taken and imbued with something ancient and terrible, like a curse but older. He saw more too, so many horrors that are to come. The end of everything. But what if it is all lies? What if he's been leading them, the whole multiverse, towards destruction? Superman reaches out, placing his hand on Martian Manhunter's shoulder, telling him, "We're all friends here, so believe me when I say, yes, it is your fault. You're the doom of everything. So thank you, Martian Manhunter." He looks with a cracked smile on Superman's face, asking, "What?" But then Superman speaks again, telling him, "No, not Superman." The Martian Manhunter tells him, "I know that voice. Luthor." And Lex tells him, "I did warn you that we would be seeing each other again. All right, Joker, show your hand." Martian Manhunter suddenly shouts out in pain, and Joker speaks through him. There we go. Now can I please cut off a head? Hers, his, someone's. The Joker latches on to Martian Manhunter, and Lex tells him, "As many as you want. We just need to wait a little bit longer. For now, we are doomed." One of the greatest evils ever, Lex Luthor has control of Superman. And one of the most psychotic evils ever, Joker has control of Martian Manhunter. But meanwhile, over at the Hall of Justice, John Stewart sits down stating that he can't do it. He can't access the green power battery anymore. All he feels is a pull towards the ultraviolet. Cyborg says that the costume that Sinestro is wearing is allowing him to channel the energy of the invisible spectrum so that he can harness it himself. He's sending out a call right now to draw people in, and John asks who would he target. Cyborg tells him that the readings that he's seeing, he's targeting everyone on Earth. And back below the sea, the Flash tries to push through Grodd's attack, but Grodd laughs, telling him, "Yes, that's it. Keep coming while your friends fight to the death." The Flash shouts for him to shut up, but Grodd says, "This is exactly how the Turtle beat you." He saw the core of the Speed Force was the energy pointing towards stasis and death. With each fight, Turtle learned more, but his experiments aged him. This hatching is the 4th generation of his line, and he is fully attuned to the Still Force. The Flash screams as he tries to get closer, but as he does, Grodd lets out another even more powerful pulse, blowing the Flash away. John and Cyborg try to reach out to the others, but they notice a change in the Still Force. It has reached full power. Cyborg looks over at the scanner, stating that the universe stopped expanding and the membrane just disappeared. That's when John asks, "That means the barrier to the invisible spectrum is gone?" And Cyborg tells him correct. Between the planet that Umbrax controls and the people succumbing to his call, Sinestro now leads the largest core in all of eternity. All of the cores put together couldn't even come close to the size of the ultraviolet core. Down below, back at the totality, Lex, in Superman's body, looks at the doorknob as it hums. And through Superman's eyes, he says, "Look at it." He directs Superman hard towards the center of the totality, while Joker controls Martian Manhunter right behind him. The totality, the multiverse itself, is right in front of them, and all they need to do is reach out and take it. There was no warning. As tears filled the Scarecrow's eyes, he realized that something in the world had changed. How, he does not know. All he knows is that it did. But he wasn't the only one. This feeling travels all the way from Arkham Asylum to the skies of Kahndaq. The effects even reach hell, where Neron nearly drops a finely aged cask of human souls. Because right now, in the center of that change is Lex Luthor as he pilots Superman's body forward, going towards the totality. Lex takes a moment to stop and smile because everything in the world is as it should be. It all began when Lex Luthor took over the Hall of Doom for himself, casting out the original members into the fiery depths below. He upgraded the fortress's arsenal and made changes to its interrogation chamber at the request of the Joker. But perhaps the most dangerous item of all rests inside of Lex's private quarters, displayed on a pedestal. Or at least it should. Instead, it is carried with him, sitting comfortably inside of his pocket. However, this story actually takes place just before Doom was ever really a thing. You see, up in space, the Green Lanterns fought against the horrors that poured out of the damaged Source wall, and it was a fierce battle. Even Soranik Natu told her Yellow Lanterns that they need to work with the Green Lanterns. That call for aid reached the ears of Sinestro, the person that the Yellow Lanterns had based their entire livelihood on, and even he agreed reluctantly. A voice called out to him, stating that they know exactly what he is thinking, and Sinestro spun around to fire a blast of yellow energy. And then he sees that voice came from the most evil man in the entirety of the universe, Lex Luthor himself. He asked, "How is he here?" And Lex told him that something called quantum folding. It allows me to take one step and travel from one end of the universe to the other. But that's not why I'm here. I understand that the great Sinestro would believe that the best thing to do here is work with the Green Lanterns. Sinestro tells him, "Speak plainly." And Lex says, "What if I could promise you everything you ever wanted?" Sinestro tells him, "I've always taken what is needed." And Lex tells him, "No, not need. Want. I know the secrets that the Owens have been hiding. I unlocked the secret history of the universe in full. I hold the key right here in my pocket, and I'm starting a group. Join me, and I will give you the invisible spectrum and more." Sinestro pauses for a moment, and then he tells him, "I'm listening." Days prior, Lex Luthor helped save the world as one of its heroes, and he learned that the dominant energy of the human life is entropy. This all happened in a storyline, No Justice. In a world of entropy, there would be no certainties or predictability. Everything would slowly decline into disorder, and Lex would not allow that to happen. So he compiled together all of the data from his shell companies that had been working on time travel, and he built himself a real-life time machine. He had a rough map that went forward into a millennium. That wasn't far enough. He drifted in hyper-time, jumping from timeline to timeline. It was painful, yes, but he would soon learn who was right. He took off his goggles and he stepped into the future 1,000,000 years from now. There were no gods. There was only Luthor. As Lex stares at a statue of himself, a group of this time's villains fly down asking if it's really him. The tachyon particles gathered here for weeks, showing that someone was coming from the 21st century. Lex asked, "What is this place?" And the villains told him that it is Lexor's city. Lex then asks, "How did this happen?" And the villain said that society stopped fooling itself. People were told to aspire to become some fictional better version of who they were, but they couldn't ever hold on to it because it was all a lie. The cycle repeated itself until an archaeologist found the lost works of the great Lex Luthor, and broadcasted that to the world. The people were inspired by your early teachings, and they embraced what you really were on the inside, no matter how ugly it was. People stopped pretending to be heroes, and the villains conquered the universe in your name. The people in this time call it the Great Tragedy. The one who saw the truth but missed the key to unlocking it in his time. Lex asks, what is this key? And the villains told him that they couldn't do it because it could very well rewrite the course of human history. All they can do is show him the symbol at the heart of it all, and they call it doom. The villains hold up their hands, revealing a ring with a particular symbol etched into it. After a few moments of silence, the villains ask Lex if there's anything wrong, and he stares at them in disgust. Shortly after returning to the present and waking up from what could only be described as a dream, Lex went to meet with Gorilla Grodd. He asked what was the point of being right if no one realizes it for millions of years after you die. And Grodd tells him, you went to the end of the time to learn that you were a fool and a failure. I could have told you that in an instant. If it wasn't for your psychic blockers, I would have had you rip your own throat out. Lex says, I like your spirit, but you're missing the point. We need to think bigger. I can offer you the world. Grodd looks out at the United Nations General Assembly, having all of the people inside kill each other, and he says, I already have the world. The leaders of your idiot species grovel at my feet, and I will not bow to any man. Lex tells him that these are nothing but witless bureaucrats. This is a pointless show of force designed to intimidate the Flash. But we both know it will accomplish nothing. Grodd grabs Lex by the neck, stating, enough games! And Lex tells him, just listen. I was wrong. We've all been wrong. I know how to stop the Speed Force dead in its tracks so we don't have to wait until the end of time to win. The universe wants us to take it now. Grodd lessens his grip and he tells him, how? The villains of the future told Lex that he had missed something, which would have meant it was under his nose. That statement poked and gnawed at the back of his mind, but what could he be missing? The only thing out of place was a forwarded invitation to his father's old Legionnaires Club. After taking the opportunity to let off some steam and blow some things up, Lex found a door that no one could ever see. A secret chamber beneath the building, decades older than the crumbling facade above. The papers described a strange and twisted history of the universe. It marked the coming of the Great Totality and the end of things anew. Lex wondered for that moment about his father. Did old Lionel have deeper secrets than he ever knew? And just then he saw the symbol. The mark that he had seen at the end of time. This is what those future idiots said I missed. The path towards my actualization of my own time. The path towards doom. I hadn't realized when I carried the loose knob with me that I had been holding an object far more powerful than 100 atom bombs. With it, I could unlock the hidden energies of the universe. Doom would come in our time, and I would see it. So Lex unlocked the invisible spectrum, but he needed someone to command it, to bring justice to its knees. He would find the scion of the turtle, and through him unlock the arresting powers of the still force to stop creation in its tracks. That too would require someone capable of controlling the scion. Lex laughed as he realized what he was building. A legion of horror had built itself in his mind, and he had reached for the doorknob on the table in the strange Kansas basement. Each participant best suited for one of the 7 forces described in these papers. A legion that represented the true face of the universe, with all of its selfish, vindictive pride. A legion that did not stand for people as they should be, but as they were and will always be. And as Lex took that power into his hand, it echoed all across space and time. It echoed all the way back to Lexor City and humanity's end. And as the wall of light engulfed the future, the villains knew what it meant. Lex had found the key to unlocking the truth to his own future. With rapturous cries, they cheered on their annihilation. And back in the current time, Lex now pilots Superman's body as he is taking control of him, and he begins to understand his purpose. And yours. If he could, he would ask you a question, but he has asked the rest. Why should you be better than your nature? Why should any of them? The universe made them what they are, all with their selfish animal impulses. Why feel guilty for them? Celebrate them. You should be who you really are. To embrace your true self, just like Lex wants you to, and choose the right side. Screw justice. Side with doom. As Umbrax, the ultraviolet lantern sun, inches closer to Earth, it slowly begins to absorb and transform its energy. You see, Sinestro had discovered a different spectrum, a totally different thing from the Green Lantern and the emotional spectrum. And among that was the ultraviolet core. And recently, he joined that core, and he forced John Stewart to join. Cyborg and John Stewart watch, and John says they need to do something. Sinestro is pulling half of the damned population into the ultraviolet core. Cyborg tells him it's worse than that. Umbrax is infecting its target's primal life forces, the red and the green. If we don't act fast, then the Earth will become a living evil planet. John then asks, can we try calling for help from the multiverse? Cyborg says that they can try. Just then there's a loud boom coming from outside and Sinestro calls to John telling him, I'm coming for you! You killed the whole planet. The hate that you hide inside. The guilt. The energy. Your potential is limitless. Come and join the Ultraviolet Corps. You could become the most powerful Lantern ever. Warrior Supreme even. All you have to do is embrace it. Meanwhile, inside of the Totality, Lex Luthor and Joker have taken control of Superman and Martian Manhunter's bodies. In order to get close to the Totality, only two individuals could withstand the forces that the Totality was putting out, and that is Superman and Martian Manhunter. Inside of them, we had a shrunken down Batman and Hawkgirl going for the ride, but Lex and Joker also snuck into the bloodstreams of Superman and Martian Manhunter, and now have taken control of their bodies. And they find themselves steps away from their goal. Lex looks at the Totality, knowing that it wants him to take it. He even starts to reach out for it, and then something reaches back. Batman punches through the glass, grabbing and throwing Lex out of the cockpit, causing Lex to release his grip on the cosmic doorknob. Lex asks him how. Superman's cell should have eaten you by now. And Batman tells him, I have a kryptonite ring. Mutated or not, it's still Superman's DNA. Lex then asks him, really? You brought a kryptonite ring inside of Superman? With friends like you, who needs enemies? Lex activates his shoulder cannon, but Bruce rolls forward, jumping up, punching Lex square in the jaw. Back in the underwater Legionnaire's base, Flash struggles to get up, telling Grodd, stop this! Grodd is currently in control of the Still Force, brought by the baby turtle that Grodd has strapped to his chest. The Still Force has the ability to shut down the Speed Force, defeating the Flash. Grodd asks, why on earth would I do that? I've spent years dreaming of this moment. It's impressive, really. The amount of speed inside of you to even move a single muscle against the Still Force, to fight through the cosmic essence of stasis. Keep it up and you might reach the door in a century or two. If you survive the implosion, of course. As Grodd turns and walks away, he calls out to Black Manta and Cheetah, asking if they've gotten what they came for. Black Manta and Cheetah look upon their newly discovered artifacts, the key to the Graveyard of the Gods, and the Tear of Extinction. Manta picks up the tear, stating, yes, we've located what we needed. Back inside of Superman, Batman pins Lex to the ground and Lex shouts to the Joker, I'm gonna need a hand over here. The Joker laughs as he begins to turn Martian Manhunter's fingers into tendrils and he reaches into Superman through his eyes. Joker tells Superman, I really hope you don't mind. I'm just trying to pick your brain a bit. One tendril shoots in, cutting away at Batman's side, and Batman calls out to Hawkgirl, stating, we can't let Lex get his hands on the doorknob. We need to do something now. Before he could finish, Hawkgirl pulls herself up from the floor, cracking Joker in the head, telling him, I got your punchline right here. Hawkgirl then takes control of the probe, with Batman struggling with Lex to claim the doorknob. Lex manages to snatch the doorknob before Batman can, and he asks, can you feel it? The power in my hand. It is only a fraction of what I will soon claim. You thought your friend Martian Manhunter was the key to this whole thing? You thought it was him who was destined to hold the Totality? He's not. Now let me show you how small and fragile you are. Lex holds out the doorknob, releasing its power onto Batman. Batman screams as his limbs are bent and snapped, and Lex tells him, can't you see? Good, now you may go. Seconds later, Batman, Superman, and Martian Manhunter are teleported back to the Hall of Justice. Martian Manhunter is the first to wake up, and he says, Lex, he beat us to it, but where is Hawkgirl? As the heroes look over their situation, the frustration begins to set in. John shouts, you should have told me about the invisible spectrum, the exact opposite of the emotional spectrum. And Martian Manhunter tells him, you should have told me about your doubts. And Flash says, you're the one who opened up the door. John asks, what are we supposed to do? Umbrax's energy is saturating the Earth. I can feel it. Hell, I'd be a part of Sinestro's ultraviolet core if it wasn't for Cyborg blocking him. Cyborg tells him, actually, I'm not blocking him. I've got every ounce of power in the shields. There's only one person controlling it, and that's you. John steps back and tells him, yes, I can feel it. What are these ancient forces being unlocked? The Still Force, the invisible spectrum. What if we're not supposed to fight them? Martian Manhunter asks, are you stating that we stop battling these powers and let them in, use them? If we can connect enough people, break Sinestro's hold. John tells him, yes, I can show you how to use the emotions fueling the invisible spectrum, accept them and turn them into a strength. I might not be a Green Lantern anymore, but maybe I can light this path. Question is, how the hell do we get around the whole planet fast enough to show them all at the same time? Flash radios in asking, the real question is, can you drive stick? A few moments later, John gets into the car that the Flash was designing, and Superman gives them a little push. John begins racing around the world, while Martian Manhunter sends out a scream to everyone lost in the grip of darkness that took the light. Look at it, because it shows the truth, and the truth is, Lex Luthor was right. Their nature may be cruel and small and full of fear at things that they will never understand, but perhaps if they acknowledge this together, if only for a moment, they might climb higher than they were supposed to someplace new, to someplace surprising. But back with Lex as he stands before the totality, getting ready to open up its door, Hawkgirl grips her mace as she jumps forward, ready to strike Lex. John radios back that something isn't right. The light that is starting to shine, it's not green, it's, my God. As the light returns to the planet, the bright symbol of the White Lanterns shines throughout space. Back at the totality, Lex focuses the doorknob's power on Hawkgirl and he asks, why does it not work on you, your wings? Why are they glowing like that? What is your connection to all of this? With all of the lives that you've lived, you must have learned something. Hawkgirl pushes through the attack, telling him, yeah, she did learn a few things, like how to perfect her swing. She bashes Lex, sending him flying, and she says, if you were smart, you'd stay down. Stand and I'm gonna kill you. Lex gets back up, hitting Hawkgirl, yelling, no! Whatever the hell it is, I'm taking the totality. It's calling to me. I can hear something inside. Back over with John, his car suddenly stops as Sinestro appears before him, creating a construct roadblock, launching him out of the driver's seat. Sinestro then asks, do you really think that your plan worked? All you've done is doomed the lives of millions, as you did on Zanshi. A construct of Hal Jordan flies out of Sinestro's ring, asking John, why? Why did you do it again? Sinestro goes on stating, life on this planet is powered by the dark and secret desires. Earth's meant to become a part of Umbrax, the ultraviolet core. But now, because of your stunt, Umbrax's planetary army will unleash its full power on Earth. Of course, the Force will destroy most of the population. John yells, no! I won't lose Earth! Superman looks up into the sky and says that all of the planets surrounding Umbrax, they look as though they're powering up and they're getting ready to fire on the Earth. Cyborg tells him to stand down. They're radiating more electromagnetic energy than is even quantifiable. In this state, there's no way that we could. But that's when a loud foom comes over the radio and Cyborg asks, what went foom? Did you just... All of the planets outside of Earth's orbit begins to charge up and fire down on Earth. Sinestro laughs, asking John if he can see it. He's done nothing but damn his own kind. And so, the League does what it always does and they fight. Aquaman sets out to hold Grodd on the other's back as Flash tries to contain the Still Force. John pushes Sinestro back with every fiber of his being, and Hawkgirl stabs Lex in the back before he could touch the door. Flash slows every cell in his body to attune to the Still Force, and then there he was, the center of everything. Terror grips over him, and yet, at that very moment, standing outside of all physics, he feels what Vandal Savage felt all of those years ago, a desire to turn back, to hide from what he saw. For better or for worse, it is not who he is, or who they are. And so he pushes on, and suddenly there is nothing. Umbrax is gone. Sinestro looks into the sky, asking, what have you and your friends done? I would have made you a paladin in the greatest corps in the universe. You should have known better. All John Stewart will ever be is a foot soldier. John fights through the grip of the ultraviolet constructs as a green light shines, stating, actually, I'm also an architect. At that moment, a giant green skyscraper slams down onto Sinestro. Back at the totality, Hawkgirl reaches out and Lex shouts, no! The totality is calling to me. It calls too. But as the light washes over the two of them, Lex blinks and he finds himself in the Legion of Doom halls. And Joker looks at him, telling him, ha ha ha! Welcome home. Let's hope the others had better luck, huh? Lex grinds his teeth, telling him, call them back now. Later, at the Hall of Justice, Martian Manhunter looks at the totality, and Martian Manhunter says that it's thanks to Hawkgirl that they've been able to do this, so what do we do now? Make no mistake, this mission that we are on, the fate of the multiverse, is at stake. Everything that we love hangs in the balance. Our enemies, we know now that we are up against the Legion of Doom. This Legion believes that the true shape of the multiverse, its destiny, hidden inside of the totality, inside of us all, is evil. However, we do not. Let them be Legion. We will be a whole universe united against them. We will unlock the answers before them and use them to win. Even if those answers change everything that we know, everything, we will not change. That is why I will return to Thanagar Prime to find out what the Martian Keeper of Memory is hiding. I would like Hawkgirl and John to accompany me. John looks at his Green Lantern ring and he says he's not sure. This ring just appeared on him, and he'd rather not let them down. Martian Manhunter tells him that he should have recruited him himself. He should have let him see how he had forgiven him for Zanshi so long ago. He just simply hadn't forgiven himself. John hugs Martian Manhunter, telling him, "Thanks, old friend." Martian Manhunter then says that he has fears, though, that if they open up the totality and they learn that the inevitable ending to everything is cruel, that the universe and life were meant to be something dark and predatory, what are they to hold everything back? What are they as villains? What does the Justice League do if it finds out that it is on the wrong side of everything? Superman tells him, simple, but Batman speaks over him, telling him, "We justice harder." Flash laughs, telling him, "Now that's a Batman voice." And just then there's a loud boom, and from within the Hall of Justice, a beaten and battered man appears before them. The man tells them that his name is Starman. He's come from the past, and he has all the answers that they seek, but to learn them, 3 of them must die. Meanwhile, back at the Legion of Doom's hideout, Lex knows that he underestimated his enemies, and he can come to terms with this fact. He thought the totality would aid him in some way, but the test was more than that. He understands it now. He walks down the hallway and he says, "You were right, I do need your help." And with that, there's a slight laugh. And the Batman who laughs says, "I never thought you'd ask." When he was a boy, Arthur Curry would go out with his father on their fishing boat. He wanted to find new oceans, new waters to explore. His father told him, though, that the waters had already been mapped. Now, as an adult, Arthur Curry is Aquaman, and he is in the Arctic Circle with Wonder Woman and Firestorm following a magical ship in a bottle. They are searching for an ancient hidden ship, in which is locked the legendary key to the graveyard of the gods. They search for the dead god Poseidon. The ship is buried within the ice, deep beneath the surface, and hidden within the bow of the ship lies what they seek. Suddenly, a strange creature lashes out, and it is vast, with its watery limbs created by some strange alien liquid. The trio try to fight with Firestorm caught within its liquid, and Aquaman dives in to rescue him, but it's too late. His friend is mutated, becoming some strange aquatic creature that he has never seen before. The monster grabs Arthur next, and the world goes dark. When the light returns, Arthur is confused. His armor is gone and his skin is covered in some strange symbols. What is going on? Where am I? You are in the Blood Reef, Sea King of Earth. Welcome. The speakers are some of the sea gods, the ocean lords, and they are the invaders from the stars. And the Earth is under attack. Amnesty Bay, in the past. Lightning flashes in the skies as the waves pound against the shore, and despite the storm, Tom Curry runs to the beach, his young son Arthur in his arms. "Atlanta, don't do this," he calls against the wind and the rain, and his wife, Arthur's mother, stands surrounded by sea creatures in waist-deep waters. Tom doesn't understand. They aren't safe with her around. She is doing this for Arthur. And Atlanta begins to drift under the water. She leaves them with one last parting. "Goodbye, my loves." In the growing storm, Arthur calls for his mother, yet she is already gone. The Blood Reef now. On a piece of alien coral floating in another dimension, Arthur Curry is bound in chains. Strange creatures from an alien sea surround him. Their language is indecipherable.
Check
Their
1,
thoughts lost
check
in
2.
him. He tries to speak with them, yet his words bring anger and blows. The creature's hands are stayed, however.